Hello guys! The next part that we want to think about with connotation and denotation is what we call shades of meaning. Imagine that I had a paint strip and in the middle was our neutral or our base color. Well, we know that paint strips also show a darker color. We can think of that for negative because it's darker, and a brighter color for positive. So when we think about our words, they're kind of like a paint strip too. We have a neutral word like questioning. We might know somebody who asks a lot of questions just because they're genuinely curious. It doesn't really take on much of a tone or an emotion. But if we have a friend who's a real busybody, they want to be in our business, they ask so many questions that they start to drive us crazy, you may describe that person as nosy. Likewise, if you have a friend who really listens to you well, they pay attention and they ask questions when you tell stories, you might describe that person as being genuinely interested. So notice how a shade brighter is interested and a shade darker is nosy. The same would be true if we take a look down at this word saving. Think about the sentence, they were saving for their first house. Saving doesn't really have much of a meaning there, just to inform us what they're doing in the sentence. Likewise, if we have a sentence or we're thinking about somebody who really saves their money well, they cut coupons, they're very inventive with how they use their items, we could call them thrifty. They might go to the thrift store and have totally thrifted outfits. Thrifty tends to take on a positive connotation. On the other side, we have stingy. Stingy is somebody who really pinches their pennies. They don't want to save and they won't go out to Starbucks for a coffee. We'd call them stingy. What other word could we call people that is a negative connotation for saving? What other word would you put right here? Maybe in the chat you told us words like cheap or hoarding. Then you're absolutely right. Those are words that have a negative connotation. So I want you to pause for a second. And if English is your second language, either tell us in the chat or just think to yourself and give yourself some credit, because this is really tough. When we look at all of the connotations and all of the emotions that we put onto our words in English, it becomes a very deep language where there's so many different things that we have to consider just to pick the right words for a sentence. So if you or anybody you know has English as their second language, make sure you take some time to give them some credit because they know a whole ton about our language beyond what we know about others. So just an interesting thought. I really think that our students who are English as a second language speakers deserve some credit when we look at lessons just like this. So we're going to do a Newsella article following this video, and then I'll pick back up with you for subordinating conjunctions.